finals obviously starting in 30 minutes between the Bucks and the Suns, and this is a Suns podcast, as we've said before.
Yes.
Do we expect, with Giannis now upgraded to day-to-day after he was just upgraded from questionable, after he was just expected to be doubtful, so much is changing in such little time.
It's an ever-changing injury report.
Obviously, I think they're just trying to make people plan for Giannis and maybe psych him out a little bit, but there's no way Giannis sees the first 2 games if they're being a little smart.
I don't. Okay.
I
wouldn't be surprised if he plays. I really wouldn't. He's just not going to play well.
I know, just the way we've seen James Harden rush back from injury, Trae Young rush back from injury, it was damaging to the team.
Yeah, but here's the thing, though. Here's the thing, like, where it's different with those is that, like, yes, Giannis is Milwaukee's future, but also it's the NBA Finals. Like, there's a massive difference between, like, what your future looks like when it comes to conference finals versus in the NBA Finals. So, like, they were fine sending him out a couple games in the conference final because they were like, well, like, I just think they kind of weighed their bets at that point. Like, like the earlier round, the more you're going to, like, weigh your bets with future longevity. But if you lose a year of prime Giannis for a championship,
it's probably worth it
to play all 7 games. Like, you do that. I'm sorry. Like, you do it.
Well, the other thing,
and I don't think in the second round, if in like the second round Giannis was like, oh, I really want to play, they'd be like, no, dude. But in the NBA Finals, he's not going to let them sit him on the bench.
Yeah. Well, the other thing to think about with that is, like, with your thought with the sitting him early, like, if you sit him early, you can sit there and be like, oh, well, we lost because we didn't. Oh, well, I just got an alert. He is going to play tonight. So that settles that. But
there you go.
But sitting him early, you can, if you end up losing early in the round, you can just be like, oh, it's because Giannis was hurt, whatever. You know what I mean? Like, but if you end up not sitting him, or you end up, blowing his knee, he ends up hurting his knee greatly in the first round of the playoffs. Like you said, you're mortgaging your future at that point. So, but yeah, he's gonna play. So.
It looks like it. So, yeah, does that really change anything? We talked about it a little bit at the beginning of the podcast. We're obviously the Suns podcast, so we know who we're vouching for, but do we realistically think the Bucks hold the candle right now to the Suns?
No, I don't.
Oh, yeah. I think if Giannis plays, if Giannis is, like, not just going to re-aggravate his injury and he actually, like, plays 40-plus minutes all 7 games, I think 7.
Yeah, I just don't see that happening.
I really think it's close.
Okay. Well, I think with that, Giannis obviously, like I thought for a minute, Giannis wasn't for sure playing the first 2 games. Now hearing that he's coming back, that kind of changes a little bit. But I think it's the Suns in 6 games, and they might even do it in 5, and it wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah, I mean, I would pick Suns in 6. That's probably a fair bet. I just think the Suns just, I mean, they're just on a mission. I mean, just crazy at this point. Devin Booker's playing awesome.
Aiden's finally showing his number 1.
Yeah, Aiden is
actually pretty good, but like
that he's a pretty good player.
Dude,
it's Chris Paul, man. It's time, man. So
Devin Booker.
Like I know we have the LeBron James draft. Mm-hmm. I know we have the LeBron James draft to look back at, but like that Luka Doncic, Trae Young, like that draft is, I think, going to go down as one of the best ever.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Yep.
Like,
I agree.
Yeah.
I mean, you couldn't go wrong. Like, where could you have missed? I mean, they talk about it all the time. The Hawks getting Doncic versus Young, and they talked about all that all the time. But it's like, I mean, who cares, man? Why are you debating that? They're both so good. Like, it doesn't matter who you could have gotten at that point.
Mm-hmm.
So
just some names off the top of it, like out of the lottery. You got Michael Porter Jr.
Mm-hmm.
You got Shai Gilgeous-Alexander, Trae Young, Luka Doncic. Jaren Jackson's been awesome for Memphis. DeAndre Ayton. I feel like Marvin. Everyone needs to talk about the Kings more because Marvin Bagley at 2. What are you doing?
Yeah, they messed some stuff up.
Man, it was just a solid
Marvin
draft.
Bagley's like average. I don't hate Marvin Bagley, but it's not definitely not
2?
worth number 2. Yeah, not worth 2. He's like a 7 or an 8.
Maybe.
Yeah.
I don't know. With how deep most NBA drafts are, 7 or 8s, if you get decent value out of that, you're still gonna be a little okay with it. But
right. I agree.
Yeah. So I don't know. It's still gonna be fun, especially with Giannis seeing some time. It'll just be interesting to see how bad that injury really does affect him. So I don't know. It's been a crazy playoff. Do you guys really? A lot of people are dubbing it as this champion doesn't really matter because of all the crazy injuries to all-stars that have definitely affected the trajectory of these playoffs. We shouldn't really be taking that away from the Suns or Bucks.
No, yes. I think yeah, because if Kawhi plays in that series, they're in the finals. I'm sorry, but if you would have gotten those performances out of Paul George with Kawhi on the floor, they would have won.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's just been.
But you can go all the way back to
Anthony Davis. Playoffs.
All the way back to Anthony Davis with the Lakers.
Yeah. Right. Yes, and I'm very glad that they are not in this. So it's been tough with the injuries, but also I don't know. It's just part of it, man. It's just part of the game, and it was a weird off season. It was a weird turnaround, but it still was just freak injuries. It wasn't all the same thing. It wasn't the same reason all of them got hurt. It was just things that happened. Kawhi didn't want to play because he doesn't care about anybody but himself. No offense, but oh well. And yeah, there were injuries, but it really didn't. I don't think it took much away. The 76ers still played with all their guys. The Bucks basically have played with all their guys except for Giannis.
The Nets without James Harden when they were up big early on in that one too.
Yeah, I think the Nets are the only team legitimately has a big gripe. James Harden only playing twice, and when he did play, he sucked.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I look at it as I don't want to sit there and say you can take stuff away from anybody though, because
no,
I don't know. I just think of that as some weak sauce, way to look at it, just because LeBron isn't in the finals. That's why I look at it. That's stupid. That's just some soft way to look at it, and it's just dumb because everybody's oh, there's no superstars in the finals. Well, you do. I'm not saying there's no superstars, but you do have Devin Booker. You do have Giannis. I don't know. I just think of it as if you don't have LeBron in the finals, some people look at it as being stupid, but it's not. So